Jamaica 1-0 over Guatemala as we take a look at Jamaica's recent record at the Gold Cup. Of course, a finalist in 2015 and 2017. Mao, Herc picked Jamaica to win this tournament. As we look ahead to the semifinals, how confident are you that Mexico can get the job done?
Are you talking to me or are you talking to Mao?
You picked Jamaica to win the tournament.
I said Mao. You picked them, so I'm asking Mao how confident. We know how Herc feels.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm still confident that Mexico has a slight edge on Jamaica. Listen, we've touched a lot on how great these Jamaican players are. El Tridente was probably the best leading up to the tournament.
Yeah,
I don't think they have performed to the level that we expected. They haven't been bad. I just don't think they have been great so far. But we saw what the Mexican team can do when Jimmy Lozano can start his ideal 11. There's a different level. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard fought. There are a lot of things that Jamaica do very, very well, and we've seen how fragile sometimes this Mexican backline can be. I still give Mexico a slight edge over Jamaica. I'm still confident Mexico's a favorite.
Yeah, they're slight favorites only because of that midfield. The Jamaican midfield, I think, was giving up a lot to Guatemala, gave up possession pretty much. I think Guatemala got carried away, got ahead of themselves, and got in a game of transition with a better just Jamaican side with individual talent. Here's the thing you have to remember about Jamaica. They're very difficult to play against, and you mentioned the front three. Okay, they've been great. How about the rest of the
good? They can do better.
They've been great. How about the rest of the team? 9 different goal scorers for Jamaica this tournament. That is insane. They have production from everywhere, and they've got one of the best, if not the best, goalkeeper in this tournament right now. A team that's defensively stingy, going forward in transition can be lethal, but they'll be on a day less of rest. And they got in a very physically draining game of back and forth football with Guatemala. And by the way, shout out to the Guatemalan just fan base, which was the highlight of this tournament. Very sad to see them go. But I think this is a pick 'em for me. And that midfield gives Mexico the edge, but I still take Jamaica there.
Mal, I think it was maybe a couple shows ago, we talked about what the weakest link was for Mexico. We talked about right back. I think both outside back positions you can kind of worry about, especially when you think about Damari Gray. He moves around a ton. Leon Bailey, he moves around a ton. The big question for me is, what does Mexico do with the outside back positions here? Do you go back to Jorge Sanchez and just roll the dice there? Do you think Julian Araujo, who I don't think looked that good in his opportunity, is the guy to go? And then on the left side, do you go back to Gallardo? I would love to see Arteaga get a shot here, man. I know he doesn't get many opportunities, but a guy who's in Europe and who bets on himself, and we want to see those guys succeed, I would love to see him get a proper test here in the Gold Cup.
He plays in Europe, he bets on himself, but he hasn't delivered. He hasn't been good. He hasn't been better than Gallardo. That's the bottom line. He hasn't been better than Jesus Gallardo. And if that's still the case, then Gallardo is going to start important games. Now, on the right-hand side, you've heard me so many times what I think of Jorge Sanchez. Have to be fair. His game against Costa Rica wasn't his worst. He was actually, statistically, he was the best Mexican player on that field. Now, does that mean that he will be the same against Jamaica? Different kind of competition, different kind of players that he's going to have to face? No, and especially when Jorge Sanchez sometimes looks better when he joins the attack, right? When he turns in another winger or is closer to Uriel Antuna. He's going to have to be very, very careful, because if he leaves space behind him, then he's going to be the scapegoat again. You're going to have to start them both, Jorge Sanchez and Jesus Gallardo. Is that a guarantee? No. Does that make me happy and make me feel safe? No, not at all.
Here's another wrinkle with Gerardo Arteaga. He was also the same player that didn't go to the Olympics because he wanted time off.
And who was the manager?
And who was the manager? Jimmy Lozano. So remember that right there. And Gallardo, to Mal's credit, to Mal's point, he's been one of the better players since the World Cup. So I don't see that moving at all. And the right-hand side, it really is pick your poison. I mean, you can say what you want about both players. They both struggle at times during this tournament, Julian Araujo and Jorge Sanchez. But I think Jorge Sanchez right now, Jimmy Lozano feels more comfortable with them.
All right, so it's Mexico and Jamaica right there at Allegiant Stadium on Wednesday behind you.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.